Well, a very, very happy Friday morning, everyone. Welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And before we get to roll, we got a big show. We're going to go for a full hour today. We got two fantastic guests. We got big Padre news, and not only that Michael King surprisingly is coming back to the Padres, but we're getting word, nothing official from the Padres yet, but they're going to sign an infielder from the Korean Baseball Organization. I'll get to that in a few minutes, but I want to remind everyone today is our final show. We moved it to 10 o'clock because my grandson was getting a Global Achievement Award at Paul Ecke Elementary today. And that took place at 8 o'clock, and I wanted to have plenty of time to enjoy his award and spend some time with him and the rest of the family. So we moved our final broadcast to 2025 to 10 o'clock. And boy, I'll tell you what, we're going to end the year with two fantastic guests and really going to give you some options for over the holidays to attend some sporting events, some big time sporting events here in San Diego. So hang with me. Reminder, we'll be back on Monday, January 5th at 9 a.m. and we'll resume our 3 day a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And when we get back on January 5th, we're going to have a lot to recap, but we're also going to have a lot to look forward to because the Padres will be continuing to sign players. And who knows, maybe now that Michael King's going to be back in the fold, the Padres will end up trading a guy like Nick Pivetta. You never know what AJ Preller and the Padre organization are going to do. But January 5th, back at it, and we'll be talking a lot about the upcoming spring training. And Aztecs and Tritons and Toreros will definitely be in full gear the college basketball season. So a lot to look forward to, and want to wish everyone a very merry Christmas, a great New Year. 2026 is a friend of mine from high school. She hit me up on a text this morning. She goes, 2020 is going to be an epic year. So let's hope that 2026 is a fantastic year. Reminder, we would very much appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel. Please please turn on your notifications, please tell a friend. And if you'd like to be a part of our Gold Glove membership, $2.99 a month. And we appreciate all the great supers we've been getting throughout the course of the year, especially during the holiday season. So thank you very much. How the program's going to line up today. We're going to talk about Michael King here in a second. We got Mark Neville, the CEO, coming up from the 46th annual Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. Last time he was on, he goes, I guarantee you we're going to have a sponsor. And just before they named the two teams, and what a matchup. I got to tell you, this is a hell of a matchup. I mean, there's years, and I'm going to go regardless because I love the game. I believe in the game, and it's great for San Diego. But this year, a little bit extra special for me. Arizona, the Wildcats, Brett Brennan coming in. SMU, they love to chuck the ball all over the yard. Brett Lashley, a really, really solid coach, done a great job with the Mustangs. And we got a great matchup. And for the first time ever, it's going to be in January, on January 2nd at 5 o'clock. So that's kind of cool. I mean, that's really cool. I'm excited about this. And I would hope, and we'll talk more with Mark Neville coming up here in a few minutes. I would hope that you San Diegans, even if you don't have a rooting interest between Arizona and SMU, come on out and celebrate college football. And let's fill that stadium up. I want to see Snapdragon filled up to its capacity this year. So that's my take on that. We'll talk with Mark Neville. A little bit later on, we're going to talk with Jake Gilliam. He's an assistant basketball coach for John Olive at Torrey Pines High School, co-tournament director of the 35th Annual Holiday Classic. And I can't believe that 35 years ago, Brad Sesbat and I called the championship game between St. Raymond's and St. Anthony's. Bobby Hurley Sr., Danny Hurley, now the head coach of the two-time defending national champion Yukon Huskies, was the MVP of that first tournament. Roderick Rose, an All-American forward who played at Kentucky and USC. They beat St. Raymond's that night, and the St. Anthony squad, boy, what a legendary program that was. And they don't even have a school any longer, but 35 years ago. So Jake Gilliam will tell us about the tip-off tournament on Tuesday night at Torrey Pines, and he'll get into all the stats and stories coming up for the big tournament going to be coming up right after Christmas. But we got to get to Michael King. I got to be on with you. This hit me like a lead balloon last night. I could not believe it. I was out to dinner with my Bible study group last night. I got home and all of a sudden my phone is buzzing, ringing off the hook. Hey, coach, can you believe Michael King is coming back to the Padres? Well, I really can't, to be honest with you. I don't know what happened. He was supposed to go to Boston. He was supposed to go to the Yankees, or he was supposed to go to Baltimore. But the Padres got him done. 3 years, $75 million, a $12 million signing bonus, a $5 million salary for 2026. So you're going to get 17 million. But after this coming year, if he re-ups, he'll have a player option for 28 million. Okay, 28 million player option. But if he walks away from that because he has a great year and wants to go out on the free agent market again, he'll get him $5 million buyout. I mean, where was that in radio? I would have loved to gotten a $5 million buyout to go away. Like these college football coaches, it's like funny money. It's amazing. And then if he comes back in 2027, he gets the $28 million. And then in 2028, he'll get a $30 million deal. And that's a player option as well, but there's no buyout. So we'll have to wait and see what Michael King's willing to do. Now, this is great for the Padres, but you got to wonder, because they're looking to sell the ball club, they're looking actually to cut payroll. Does that mean that they re-sign Michael King? That maybe they say goodbye to Nick Pivetta? We'll have to wait and see on that. But we can discuss that. And after our two guests today, we're going to get out to Coach's Crew. We'll get all your questions answered. And we may go a little bit past 11 o'clock today just because we want to answer everybody's question. But the other news that came down just before I came on the air, and we're scurrying to get the information for you. The Padres apparently are getting very close to signing Sung Mun Song, a 28-year-old left-hand hitter who can play third, second, and first base. The last 3 years he's played with the Kiwoom Heroes, hit 315, 26 bombs last year, 90 RBIs, a 530 slug, and a 917 OPS. Now that would obviously change the dynamics of this Padre ball club. We know that they need a first baseman. And maybe it'll still be Ryan O'Hearn. We'll have to wait and see. We've been talking for 2 years about trading Jay Cronenworth. He's owed $60 million over the next 5 years, and that, quite frankly, is an overpay. The way he has performed the last few years, that's a definite overpay. And we've heard his name mentioned quite a bit in trade talks. So we'll keep our eye on this if it becomes official. But the young man's name is Sung Mun Song, 28-year-old left-hand hitter. Last 3 years played with the Kiwoom Heroes. And he played 9 years in the KBO. And we'll see what he can bring to the table. But again, reportedly nothing official from the Padres. But you know what? We'll see if he's able to make the adjustment. But a left-hand hitter who's got some pop and definitely is hit for average. So we'll see where it goes. So everybody got to be excited about Michael King, I would certainly think. I am. I couldn't believe they re-signed him, to be honest with you. So we'll get to that coming up at about 10:45. We'll get out to all your questions. And again, want to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas. Glad you could join us on the program. And right now, without further ado, I don't want to keep this guy because he's really busy. And I appreciate him coming on this Friday morning. Mark Neville, the CEO of the 46th Annual Trust and Will Holiday Bowl, joins me from his office. And I don't know if he ever leaves his office this time of year. But Mark, thanks so much for the time. Welcome to the program and happy holidays to you and the family. And looking forward to seeing you tonight. The big battle between University of San Diego going over to Lion Tree Arena to take on the UC San Diego Tritons, off to a fantastic start at 10-1. And Steve Quist and I looking forward to calling that ball game tonight.
Yeah, I will be there rooting for my Tritons for sure. I'm all about the Toreros 31 times this year, but not tonight.
All right. Last time you were on the program, I'm going to let you pat yourself on the back a little bit. I asked about sponsorships. You goes, well, we're talking to a few people, but I guarantee you before the bowl game, we're going to have a sponsor. And since you had a little extra time to kill on Selection Sunday, thanks to Notre Dame, you were able to make the announcement about the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl.
Yeah, that I would love to take a lot of credit for that, but I can't. It was there was a team effort all the way. We have, we're a volunteer organization. I'm one of only a handful of people that are lucky enough to get paid to do this stuff. But we had a volunteer of ours, Jim Burke, a longtime Redcoat, who had a friend who just happened to be the CFO at Trust and Will, and he went to him and said, "Hey, the Holiday Bowl is looking for a sponsor. What do you think?" And 2 weeks later, we signed the contract. And it's just we rely so much on our volunteers. They absolutely are the best in the business. They have a reputation nationally, believe it or not, here in San Diego. People may not know that, but the Redcoats are pretty famous around the country for the incredible work that they've done that really created the Holiday Bowl and built it to having the reputation that it does have today.
Mark, what is a sponsor of the Holiday Bowl? What do they get for their sponsorship money?
It's a lot, and one thing we do, like we are going to provide them a significant ROI, no doubt about it. The telecast, everything about it for the game on January 2nd on Fox is going to be the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. Anything that we do from this point moving forward through the game and then beyond the game is going to be the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. And they have some objectives with the sponsorship that we're going to help them pursue. When you become the entitlement partner with our game, or whether it's the Rady Children's Invitational with Rady Children's Health, it's part of the family. We are going to do everything. We always exceed expectations with our partners. We've never lost a title sponsor due to lack of performance. That's for sure. And so really proud and grateful to Trust and Will. I mean, this really shows their sense of community. We needed help, and they stepped up big time. And they're stepping up not only for us, for the Holiday Bowl or even Sports San Diego, but for the entire community. We've been through the ringer a lot these last few years. Going back to COVID and the UCLA cancellation and things like that. And so this is year 6 of 6-year contracts with the bowls, with the conferences for the Holiday Bowl, and those contracts are pretty, they're cumbersome for us. We guarantee a lot of money to the conferences for playing in the game, and to have a company like Trust and Will really step up for us here in this critical year for us. All your listeners, this whole community owes a debt of gratitude to Trust and Will. I mean, this was a big time play on their part and big time help for us.
Mark, I know I had you on right after the selection. You came on the very next day, and we talked about the delay. It seemed like forever and a day. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting to find out what the matchup was going to be. And I know it was a lot tougher on you and your staff because, you're trying to put things into motion, contact coaches, contact SIDs. Notre Dame really fouled the selection Sunday up when they backed out. That really threw everybody kind of in a dithy. And from your standpoint, what was it like? It had to be total chaos there for a few hours.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of strange because Notre Dame not participating in the bowl game really didn't enter our minds until to one of a counterpart of mine before we went our separate ways and announced the teams in our game. He just asked, he said, "So can I get confirmation that the Irish are going to play in a bowl game?" And that's what set everything in motion and took all the time and things like that. So it was a memorable day for sure. One of the stranger team announcement days and selection processes that I've ever been through. And hopefully it doesn't repeat again. I think teams backing out of a bowl game. You turn the clock back 20 years ago. That's just unheard of. And bowl games are still really important. And I'll tell you, like the teams that we have coming to our game with SMU and Arizona, it feels to me like the old Holiday Bowl. There is a lot of excitement. We're We're selling tickets. Post announcement, we've sold more tickets post announcement than we have in maybe 15 years. There is a buzz about the game. Both of these teams, this is where they wanted to be. They wanted to be in San Diego in the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. And the coaches were in town this week. We had a press conference, and then they joined our bowl family, all of our red coats, for a dinner, like 300 people, and getting to know everybody. This game is important for both of these programs. Arizona, it's not very often that a team gets 10 wins in a season. This is an opportunity for Coach Brennan, who's done an incredible turnaround with that football team, for them to be in this position, and they know they have their work cut out for them in playing SMU. And SMU is, pretty incredible story there as well. It wasn't long after they were in the Holiday Bowl in 1980 against BYU that they got the death penalty. And now here they are, a member of the ACC, and doing really well. Having gone to the playoff last year, and another great season this year, 8-4, going up against Arizona. It seems like the teams are going to be fully intact, at least largely intact, when they come to San Diego as it relates to opt-outs in the transfer portal. We're going to have both of the teams really that played the entire regular season, and I feel it is important for both of them that they win. And true to Holiday Bowls in the past, we're a very offensive-oriented bowl game. I think this is going to be an incredible matchup with both have prolific offenses. Defenses aren't bad either on each side. There's going to be a lot of fans traveling to San Diego. I think the January 2nd game date on Friday night, national TV on broadcast television with Fox. It's going to be a big night. And I'd encourage your followers here that we're tracking towards a sellout. And so whether we get there or not remains to be seen, but it sure feels, just the numbers that we're selling on a daily basis, when normally we don't sell a lot, there's usually like a lull period. This week, it hasn't been a lull. And so I would encourage people to get them now for sure. And because it's going to be an amazing night with the pageantry that we always do at the pregame show, and the skydivers and the giant American flag and the marching bands. Both marching bands are coming, full compliments of the marching bands. And then halftime, we're doing some pretty crazy fireworks stuff with the bands, and we have a bunch of bands and dancers that are coming from all around the country. It's going to be a night to remember here in San Diego. One that I have tremendous excitement for this year. It's going to be one of the best we've ever had.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to this game. I want to ask you this, because I'm sure after the bowl season's over and all the head muckety mucks such as yourself get together.
Oh, I'm not a head muckety muck.
Well, you guys have all got to get together and talk about teams opting out. Iowa State, Kansas State, to a certain degree, I understand why they backed out, because they're kind of in disarray. They're trying to hire a new coach, and guys are looking for jobs. And I understand that a little bit. The Baylor's excuse was really weak, saying they're too deep into their offseason program. Seriously? That was a joke. And we saw a year ago, Washington State had an interim coach. A lot of guys opted out because of the portal. And
not only that, they lost their head coach.
Huh?
They lost their head coach. They lost their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator. John Mateer went off to Oklahoma. Talk about being in disarray. That was a program that was in disarray, but they played. What I feel bad for with Kansas State, Iowa State, even Notre Dame, is there were a bunch of seniors on that team who were going to be playing. They didn't realize that their last game was the last game they had. When they come to a bowl game, like what Washington State did, and I applaud Ann McCoy, who was the AD at the time at Washington State, in the way that she energized the team to come here. They were definitely outgunned by Syracuse because they basically were their full complement when they played them. But those seniors who came here and played in their last game, it was incredibly impactful for them. These bowl trips, people don't really think about this, but these guys that, from Arizona and SMU, they're coming to San Diego, which is, I would argue the best bowl destination in the country. They're going to be going to SeaWorld. They're going to be going on an active Navy ship and get tours of that. They're going to be hanging out in downtown San Diego at night, with their buddies and in their hospitality suite. They have the time of their lives. I talked about the Redcoats earlier. They put on an incredible week for the players while they're here, one that they will never forget. And to cap it off with this incredible football game that they want to win. I mean, this is a trip to win a football game.
Well, let me stop you right there, because every coach attacks these bowl games a little bit different. These two coaches are coming, and it will be a business trip. These two coaches do want to win this game. They're just not happy, and this is a bowl game because their kids had a nice year, and they're going to come to San Diego. They're going to enjoy it to a certain degree, but both these coaches and these programs are coming to win this game.
No doubt about it. And if you would have heard them talking on Tuesday when they were here, this is an important game. Coach Lashley at SMU, he needs to prove that he just got a long-term contract signed this season. He needs to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. That this is a program that's going to be around, and he is totally committed, and I believe him. He wants to win a national championship. I mean, that's what he wants to do. Whether he can do it or not, I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt him. That's for sure. And then with Coach Brennan, the turnaround that they've made just in from last year to this year is pretty amazing. Not in a bowl game the year prior, and now they're having a 9-win. They finished with 5 straight wins. They beat their crosstown rival. They're pumped. They're energized and they're ready to play, and they are coming to win a football game. That's why I say, I don't remember. It's been a long time since there's been an energy by the teams, the community, around the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. I mean, this is pretty big time right now, and it's definitely feel it. The ticket sales are reflecting it. There's gonna be a lot of people flying out from Dallas and driving out from Tucson, they're all around Arizona. They're going to be coming to San Diego. They're always here in the summer. Well, now they're coming in the winter too, and they're going to be here for the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl.
All right, Mark Neville. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take me through when the teams arrive and take me through their different activities and what the fans can be a part of. Of course, I know we got the parade and all that, but kind of take us through the schedule for the week once both ball clubs do arrive.
It's a little, the week is a little shorter now. So they're going to come in on the 29th, on December 29th, which, for the staff and all the volunteers, they're pretty excited about that because, I haven't been home on a Christmas day. I was for COVID. But other than that, I've been with the organization for 35 years. I haven't been home on Christmas Day, so we'll actually get to spend a little time at home with the family on Christmas, which is great. And for all the volunteers, they don't have to run down to a hotel on Christmas to go greet the teams as they arrive. But they're both going to be landing at the airport on the 29th, and pretty right now, tentatively, like within 15 minutes of each other, which will be interesting. And then we will have, they'll get a greeting at the hotel, and we roll out the red carpet and have mariachis playing and all that stuff as they get off the buses. And they'll each have a team dinner that we'll host for them, and do all the logistics of what things to be aware of. Like from SDPD, we'll talk with each of the teams, say, this is a good place for you to go. This isn't a safe place. Kind of stay away from there. That kind of thing.
And don't do anything dumb.
And don't do anything dumb. And they're very good, when the officers, when they present to them, it's like, don't do anything to embarrass yourself or embarrass your coach or your team or your university. And we've not had problems, with team. I mean, they're here to have a great time and to win a football game, And so the coaches, these coaches, both SMU and Arizona have incredible cultures, within their football program. So excited for that. And then on the 30th, they're all set up with their practices, and they have their practice schedule. They have their practice sites. and they'll be doing that. And then around that, we always do one structured event for the team. So we'll be taking them on board a Navy ship on the 29th, and then and they get a tour by sailors. There will be a short program where each school will get an honorary captain from the ship. We try to identify a person who's from the area, and ideally a fan of each program, and they'll be an honorary captain at the game doing the coin toss and on the sidelines for the game. They get their tours there, and then they're kind of, they'll have their team dinners, and then they get to enjoy San Diego. And I'm not sure what the curfew times are yet for the schools. But for me, if I were a coach, and I tell my kids this all the time, is like nothing good happens after midnight.
That's for sure.
And then on the 31st, they're going to be going to SeaWorld. And they get a big kick out of that. It's just, especially with the rides there now, and they have a great time. And then the day before the game, we really leave the teams alone because it's a prep day. We used to do a big luncheon the day before the game, the kickoff luncheon. And we survey the players and the coaches and the athletic departments every year. And time and time again, that was the least favorite thing they did during the week, because the players are sitting with strangers, coaches want to be game planning and all that stuff. And so we got rid of that. They have the day on their own. We do provide them opportunities to go to the zoo if they just want to go and stretch their legs and not just be sitting and playing video games and all that stuff. And they do have a hospitality suite, a player suite, where there's games and snacks and things like that. The night before the game, we're providing each team hospitality suite with a bunch of barbers, knowing they're going to be on national TV, the next day, so they're going to get their haircuts and all that stuff. And it's all, the red coats are everywhere, making sure that they're being taken care of and having a good time. I do know the curfew is very early the night before the game. And we will be doing the Battle of the Marching Bands at SeaWorld the day before the game at 4:00. That will be taking place. Really fun event. It's been downtown in the Gaslamp Quarter, but there's a lot of activity down there this year with concerts at Petco Park. And so we're doing that Battle of the Bands at SeaWorld. And then the next morning, game day, it all starts with our Port of San Diego Holiday Bowl Parade Game Day 5K. That basically runs in front of tens of thousands of people at the parade, and then followed by the Port of San Diego Holiday Bowl Parade presented by Kaiser Permanente, America's largest balloon parade. And it's been that in itself. More people go to that than even go to the game. It's been a tradition for families now for decades. Really, one of the best parades. I'm not going to say it's better than the Tournament of Roses parade, but I'd put it up there against any other parade, really, is on the West Coast for sure. Can't beat right along the bay, the most scenic parade route maybe in the world. And
I keep waiting for the Padres to have a parade down there, but I've been waiting since 1969, but I digress.
It was our group that actually organized the Padres parade in 1998 when they went to the World Series.
That's great. I'm waiting to have one when they won a World Series, but go ahead.
But we head on over to Snapdragon Stadium, and we always encourage people to get in there early, because our GovX pregame show, you can't beat it. It's just a salute to our local military community, and with our giant American flag and the skydivers and the marching bands and the flyover and all that stuff is you can't beat it. It's a great way to kick off the game. And then of course the game with the marching bands in the stadium. And then we have a lot of fun interactions, because this year our theme is the holidays aren't over till we say they're over. And so we're going to be playing that up. You might have seen our end zones are pretty spectacular. We did a contest to see what the fans wanted as our end zone art, and they went with the surfing snowman. So you'll see a surfing snowman in the end zones. We will have we're doing ornament races during timeout breaks, and a lot of other fun stuff that we'll be doing throughout the game. And then halftime, we're bringing back the crazy fireworks at halftime with the marching bands and everything, and all the pyro is going to be concentrated inside the stadium. So it's going to be a pretty spectacular show, and And then we'll see which coach gets to put on the Trust and Will ugly holiday sweater at the end of the night with the champion.
Well, it's going to be an exciting time. Hey, real quick on the way out, tell everyone how they can get tickets as quickly as possible so they don't have to hunt around too far on the internet.
Yeah, holidaybowl.com. It's pretty easy. Just go to holidaybowl.com and all the ticket information and information about all the festivities is there. And yeah, I do encourage people not to wait because I don't know that they'll be available when we get close to kickoff.
All righty. Sounds great, Mark. A continued success. Congratulations on landing a great sponsor, and I'll see you at the hoop game tonight.
Go Tritons.
There you go. Mark Neville, the CEO of the 46th Annual Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. Great matchup on January 2nd, 5 o'clock at Snapdragon. You got 9-3 Arizona, ranked 17th in the country, taking on 8-4 SMU. Going to be a heck of a ball game, to say the least. Okay, now, the other big thing going on, and it's been going on for 35 years at my alma mater, among other schools around the North County, the big 35th Annual Holiday Classic. Our co-tournament director, Jay Gilliam, who's also an outstanding basketball coach, working with John Olive up there at Torrey Pines High School, and a fantastic English teacher, I'm told, by several students on campus. Jake, welcome to the program. How are you?
Good, Coach. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to talk to you.
All right. The 35th Annual Holiday Classic, I was mentioning earlier, back in the first one 35 years ago, Brad Sesmat and I called a fantastic game. Bobby Hurley seniors, St. Anthony Friars taking on St. Raymond's. Danny Hurley ended up being the tournament MVP, a great player, and Roderick Rhodes, who was a high school All-American, played at Kentucky. USC was on that squad, and we got to call that very, very first game on the old Mighty 690. And got a lot of big-time players coming in, a lot of guys that have committed. But I want you to kind of take me through the entire tournament, because I know next Tuesday night, or actually Tuesday afternoon, there's 4 big games next Tuesday, kind of the tip-off classic. And this, over the last few years, you guys started this. This has ended up being a really bonanza to kick this tournament off, because there's some great matchups.
Yeah, the tip-off night is a super cool night, and we started it maybe about 10 years ago to get some of the best teams in San Diego playing. It's just kind of grown over the years, and the really cool part for me personally is when I was a player was the first time we did it. It was one of my favorite games I played in all high school, to just get all of San Diego together to watch some of the best teams, and now being able to put it together on the tournament committee and coaching it is super cool. And so this year is no different. We have some of the teams that were ranked highly in the preseason, and it's really exciting matchups. So Carlsbad and Olympian are going to play at 3:30, which is a little earlier than we started in the past. And then at 5 is going to be Mission Bay and Victory Christian. And those are two of the tougher, grittier teams in San Diego. And then Santa Fe Christian, who's actually ranked number 1 right now, will be playing Cathedral Catholic at 6:30. And it's cool for those two schools to kind of meet in the middle, with the Coastal North County community, and get that game at Torrey Pines High School. And then at 8 o'clock, Torrey Pines, that's us, we'll be playing Francis Parker. And Francis Parker is led by one of the top players in the state, Tavid Johnson, who's just a tremendous all-around basketball player. So it's going to be a really fun night of basketball.
Okay, now take me through the start of the actual tournament. That's going to be the tip-off night. That's totally separate, but it gets everybody in the right frame of mind. Take us through the days that are going to be played during the Holiday Classic, and then we'll get into the different teams that are coming in. But kind of take us through the days and the venues they're going to be played at.
Yeah, so a week from today we'll get started, which is the day after Christmas. The 26th and 27th will be the first 2 rounds of the tournament. And then the semifinals and the finals will be on the Monday and Tuesday following, the 29th and 30th. And there are games all day, all 4 of those days. We take Sunday off. We'll play 2 games, rest on Sunday, and then play on Monday and Tuesday. And then the 5 sites are the national brackets hosted here at Torrey Pines High School. And we have some of the best teams in the country coming to that. And then the American bracket will be hosted down at St. Augustine High School. And some of the top teams locally, as I mentioned, Santa Fe Christian, they're number 1 in the county right now. They'll be playing at Saints. And there are other great out-of-section, out-of-state teams in that bracket too. And then the Senators will be hosted at Carlsbad High School. Rancho Buena Vista will host the governor's bracket, which is the 4th bracket, and then the mayors will be hosted at El Camino.
So how many brackets this year, and how many total teams?
Yes, there are 5 16-team brackets, so 80 total teams, and then 16 teams play at each site, and there end up being 8 games a day at each site.
Now, let me ask you this, because I know over the time you bring teams in from different states, and every state has different rules on how many games they can play over a period of time. Do you have teams like that this year that you're having to make kind of concessions for?
Yeah, it's always a bit of a headache because every state does have different rules. For example, in California, we can't play on Sundays. So we take Sunday off, and then other states for like this year, Texas, they're not allowed to play the day after Christmas. So we normally have quite a few Texas teams. And this year we just decided that we aren't going to have any Texas teams from the UIL. There is a different governing body in Texas. So we did get 1 Texas team out here, but normally we have 5 or 6 UIL teams. And this year we won't have any from Texas because of their travel restrictions, but everything else that has fit within our rules. And we have quite a few different states and regions and sections represented. But it is always a little bit of a headache. And then certain schools I have to coordinate with specifically because they have different times they can travel if they're not able to travel on Christmas. So we have to get their game later in the day on the first day and then cross our fingers that all the flights get in on time and everything. So it's always a bit of a puzzle to kind of put that together, but it all came together really nicely. And we have 5 even, or not 5 even, but 5 well-distributed brackets.
Heck, get a Texas team in, get them to play a doubleheader the 2 days after Christmas. They play 2 or 3 games in summer league in a day anyway. It doesn't matter.
The Texas teams, their rules are totally different. In the past, when we've been in a pinch, we've needed a team to play 2 games in a day. The Texas teams have always answered the call. That we kind of joke that they'll play as many games as we need them to, and they'll play 8 games if we ask them. But it's hard to do that because then you have to get another team to play twice in a day, or you have to get another team to kind of match. And just the way it worked out this year, the brackets are perfectly set where every team will get 4 games, everyone goes each direction, and it'll be really easy to follow the bracket. We don't have to make any specialty kind of adjustments as we've had to some years in the past.
You know, Jake, you got a team coming in that I've heard about since I was a kid. When I was playing at Torrey, I heard about DeMatha High School. And I think of DeMatha, I think of Crenshaw, the great program they had under Willie West for so many years. I think of Washington Dunbar High School. Those are 3 of the legendary high school programs. And you guys got DeMatha coming in, Morgan Wooten, I think 2nd all-time in wins. He was the John Wooden of high school basketball back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The great Adrian Dantley played there. You guys got DeMatha High School coming in. Tell me a little bit about what you know about them and how did you secure them? Because, I mean, they're a national brand.
Yeah, DeMatha is a national brand, and their league is one of the best high school basketball leagues in the country. And they have Division I caliber resources, and they have Division I players every single year. And over the past few years, we've actually gotten a few different teams from that Catholic school league, whether it be St. John's College from DC, or whether it be last year we had another team from that league come out. And then they obviously have St. Paul, who's ranked kind of top in the country every year. But this year we got DeMatha, and we've actually been working with DeMatha for almost 2 years to kind of coordinate and get them out here and get them situated. And their group this year is fabulous. Ashton Meeks is a Division I player. He's a 3-star player. And then they have Daniel Abis, who has offers from Maryland and George Mason and St. Joseph. And Their auxiliary kind of players are all Division I caliber athletes as well. So it's going to be they're a really, really good team, and it's just exciting, as a sports fan to have a program of that caliber and an organization of that caliber playing right in our backyard in San Diego. And they've been before, but it's been quite a while. And we actually, during the COVID year, we had them all situated to come out here, and then they had to get shut down because of COVID, and they weren't able to make the trip. So this is a few years in the making, and we're really excited to get Coach Mike Jones's group out here and see them play and compete.
Jake, I know we could go team by team here, but for the time that we have, I want you to mention 3 or 4 other teams that they're coming from out of town, and then I want to get into some of the top players before I let you go.
Yeah, another one to be really excited about is Sherman Oaks from Notre Dame, or I'm sorry, Notre Dame from Sherman Oaks. They're one of the best programs in the state of California, and they're led by San Diego State commit Zach White. So it'll be exciting to get them down here. And I always like when it works out when we have a San Diego State committed player playing in our tournament. That always kind of brings out the Aztec fans. And it's cool to see, kind of the future of San Diego State basketball in our gym. And then they have another player who's a 4-star player, Navarro Bowman Jr. So he'll be exciting to watch. So they're a great team. And then, Jay Sarah last year won the tournament. And they're back in the tournament again. Coach Wilkinson has been tremendously loyal, bringing his group down. They always do a fabulous job. They've won it a couple times in the past 7 or 8 years. And then North Oconee from Georgia is a public school in Georgia, which is exciting. I mean, you don't always get a public school from a state, all the way across the country who's ready to compete at this level. And they're fabulous. They've won the state of Georgia back-to-back years. They're led by Justin Wise, who's a top 50 player in the country, and he has SEC offers. He'll end up playing probably in the SEC, and he's a junior. So it's cool to get the defending Georgia State champions out here in the tournament and get a public school represented playing with the big boys as well.
Okay, before I let you get out of here, a couple of things. Number one, I notice you're in the team room at Torrey Pines right now.
Yes, sir.
Let the fans know that one signboard to your left, who's the first name on that board?
That's John Kentera, the first college basketball player in Torrey Pines history. So it's cool for me to be talking to you and kind of us have that shared history and the proud tradition we have here.
Oh, absolutely. And looking forward to hopefully getting up there Tuesday night. I want to see that late game Tuesday night, but I'll get up there and watch at least 2 that night. Tell us how everybody can get tickets, and I know you got the tournament pass, and kind of explain the tournament pass, because you've got these other venues. You buy a tournament pass, you can walk around like a big shot with that thing around your neck, and you can go anywhere you want, right?
Exactly, yeah. So if you get the week-long tournament pass, you can go to any of the sites, and people have enjoyed that. Fans have enjoyed that in the past. They can go watch a game in the morning at Saints or at Carlsbad, and then come to Torrey Pines in the afternoon. And all the tickets are available on our website, theholidayclassic.org. And we did this last year, and we're doing it this year. And there's no cash at the door, so you have to buy your tickets online. Now you can buy them online at the door, use card at the door as well. But if you get your ticket online before, it makes the process a lot smoother for everyone at the door. And then you'll just have your ticket on your phone, and then wherever the gym you show up to, you'll get a wristband, and then that will allow you to go to all the gyms and go see all the games at every site. And it's cool for, kids that are out of school. If you got, little kids or grandkids running around and, they're getting a little antsy after a couple of days out of school. It's great to have them come to the gym and come to the games. And we love having, the future of San Diego basketball walking around, seeing these games. And I remember when I was a little kid coming here and watching Kyrie Irving and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and kind of those kind of players. It made me want to play basketball in San Diego, and it made me want to be a good player and play in this tournament myself.
Like I always tell my family with the grandkids, we got to brainwash them early.
Exactly. I mean, listen, there's plenty of things kids should be doing these days, and I don't know anything better than watching, high school basketball. It's just cool to see, high school kids compete, and the youth really enjoy it. And we love having, like I said, kind of the future of San Diego athletics watching the games.
All righty. Well, you got one more English class today?
Yeah, I've got to go over there right now. We're wrapping up. We had some presentations last class. We've got a couple more today, so I'm excited to see those.
All right, Jake. Well, hey, I'm planning on getting up there Tuesday night, so I'll be in touch.
Thanks, Coach. See you Tuesday.
There you go. Jake Gilliam, who, by the way, had an outstanding career at Torrey Pines and played a couple of years at University of San Diego. Fantastic young coach, I might add. And I would certainly think when John Olive calls it a career, and I don't know if John's even thought about calling it a career, but he's had a heck of a career there, approaching 700 wins at Torrey Pines. I would certainly think Jake Gilliam would be the new coach at Torrey Pines. Great young coach, and also co-tournament director of the 35th Annual Holiday Classic. Again, the tip-off is Tuesday night, December 23rd. Great matchups of San Diego schools, and then the 26th, 27th, 29th, and 30th for the Holiday Classic. So there you have it. Try to get you guys some good info so you can get out and about and stretch your legs. Go to the Holiday Bowl, go to a little basketball, a little bit of everything. And tonight going to be great. I'm calling the USD UC San Diego game at 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus. So if you have ESPN Plus, want to watch the game tonight, Steve Quiss and I will have the call starting at 7 o'clock. Okay, the big news in San Diego is Michael King. And I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I thought he was going to Boston or the Yankees or possibly the Baltimore Orioles. The Padres pull the trigger and bring him back. And I want to get out to your thoughts on it right now. We're going to get to our coaches crew. What do we got today? And again, this is our final show of 2025. We come back on January 5th on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. Let's roll those questions now. I'm sure everybody's got something to say. Oh, thank you very much, Matt. Very much appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Who's the best sports owner ever, in your opinion? I think the Rooneys in Pittsburgh are really good. I think Dr. Jerry Buss, when he owned the Lakers, he was fantastic. Those would be two guys offhanded, I would think. In the NFL, I think the Rooney family, because number one, they're loyal to their coaches. It seems like everybody that plays wants to play in Pittsburgh. And I think everybody enjoyed playing for Dr. Buss. Dr. Buss apparently took really good care of his players up there. Those would be two. Baseball wise, I don't know. I mean, I look at a lot of these baseball owners. A lot of these guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have a baseball owner. Some of these baseball owners, they're more worried about putting money in their pocket than they are putting a winning team on the field. And you know what? I could say that about all sports. But I think the Art Rooney and his family, he's long passed on. And of course, Dr. Jerry Buss. I think those are two of the best owners in the history of sports. But you know what? That's a really good question. Now I'm going to be thinking about that, Matt. You're going to get your $1.99 worth, because I'm going to be thinking about that all day and probably start Googling a little bit after the program, because I think that's a really good one. But thank you very much. Okay, what else we got? Keep them rolling. The last shot of the year to get at me, folks. Javier, Coach, we always hear about culture on winning teams. Do bad teams not have culture? That being said, how is culture created? Manager, best players? I think it's a combination. Number one, you got to have some high character guys. And the guys that are going to hold you want your star players to have a high standard, and you want them to handle the underlings, the lesser players, and you want there be accountability. I'll give you a great story. The Rady Children's Invitational that was out at USD a few weeks ago, I went to that, and I met this scout from the Denver Nuggets. His name is Herb Livesey, famous coach, famous scout, 89 years old. And I learned so much. That I watched two great basketball games that day, but I came home and I couldn't talk enough about Herb Livesey. I'd heard about this guy since the middle 70s. I'd never met him, and he's sitting right next to me. And I picked his brain, and I couldn't. I enjoyed watching the games, but man, I couldn't wait for the game to get over where I could sit next to him a little bit longer and talk basketball. And he was telling me that Nikola Jokic, the Joker with Denver, he goes, he's the best guy on the court and off the court. And I came away, and I've always liked the Joker. He's an unbelievable basketball player, and in my opinion, the best basketball player in the NBA right now, and he has been for the last several years. I mean, the guy can do it all. As big as he is, the way he can pass and shoot, and a little unorthodox, but he gets the job done. And Mr. Livesey was telling me that this guy is such a good leader that during practice, if a guy's maybe not giving it his all, they'll get to a water break, and Jokic will go over to the player, put his arm around him, won't yell at him, just say, "Hey, man, you got to pick it up a little bit. We got to get going here." And he goes, "You'd be surprised whenever he has those little chats during a water break at practice, how practice picks up." You got to have your star players police the ball club. The manager can set the tone, but the players have to hold one another accountable. And if you don't have some high character players, then you're going to go down the porcelain fixture. You really are. That's my opinion. A coach, I think, in pro ball is different than in college. College, you can you can be a little tougher, like a Nick Saban, discipline. Guy steps out of line, boom, you nail their ass. That's the way you got to run it. I mean, really, most coaches have very few rules. Be on time, work your tail off, be a good teammate, don't be a pain in the ass on campus or in the community. Those aren't tough rules to follow. Those are about the only rules you have as a coach. And if guys can't abide by those rules, then they got to pay the price. And some have to pay a deeper price than others, depending on the severity of their infraction. But I'm not a big believer rules are made to be broken. You break a rule, you're hurting the ball club. You're hurting yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing your family. I never kicked a guy off one team in all the years I coached. Did guys have to pay a penalty? Absolutely. You can ask a few guys at Torrey Pines, Maricosta College, in particular. Some of those guys paid the price for not taking care of business the way they were supposed to take care of business. Even at Texas Tech, I had to deal with a couple of guys once upon a time. But in high school, hey, we had certain rules, man. A certain way you dress for practice. And if you didn't dress the way you're supposed to for baseball practice, then you got a little extra effort on the track that day. You got a little better conditioned, the way I would put it. But you got to set the tone, and it has to start day one. And you got to have lieutenants. And what I mean by that, you got to have good, solid assistant coaches that aren't going to let guys get away with stuff. But you got to have your best players had to be accountable. I'll give you, like at Torrey Pines, John Lynch, who's the general manager of the 49ers. Johnny, when he would go into a huddle, he was a high school quarterback. The guys weren't, paying attention. He'd grab those big offensive linemen by the face mask as a high school junior and senior and said, "Hey, guys, pay attention." Johnny Lynch was a great leader. You saw it in the NFL with Tampa Bay. You see it now as the general manager of the 49ers. I mean, we had some good dudes, but they were high accountable type guys. They expected a lot out of themselves, and they expected a lot out of their teammates. And they knew what they could get out of their teammates. But Javier, good question. Man, I'll tell you what, last show of the year, some of you guys are coming out with some really good questions today. I'm loving them. Okay, what do we got next? Okay, hey, Coach, I don't think Preller will be trading Pivetta knowing he didn't trade Cease or Suarez last season. We'll see. Just remember the thing with Pivetta. Pivetta can opt out. He's going to make between 19 and 20.5 million this year. And if he has a good year, he can opt out because his next 2 years are 14 and 18, and you'll get nothing for him. You won't get a draft pick. He'll be able to opt out, and you can't put a qualifying offer on him. That was the other thing. Michael King, the Padres made him a qualifying offer. but he chose to go out in the free agent market. Now he's coming back and basically going to play for $17 million. Of course, he's also got that $5 million buyout if he doesn't come back in 2027. So we'll see where it goes. But the way that the contract is structured right now, he will get a total of $75 million if he's here throughout the course of that contract. He'd get in 2027, $28 million. And then in 2028, he would get $30 million. And there's no opt out going into that 2028 contract. 2027, there's a $5 million buyout. So we'll have to wait and see. But you know what? If what we're hearing that they're trying to sign this infielder from the KBO, and I mentioned that earlier, I think then Cronenworth could be going, and you could dump a lot of money there. That would be rather nice. But we'll see what ends up happening with that. But we're here that they are trying to sign a player from the KBO, a middle infielder. It can play third, but mostly third, short, and first base. Really, I don't think this player would play a part in possibly filling in at shortstop at all. But that's what we're hearing right now. Also, the Padres yesterday signed former Cleveland right-hander Tristan McKenzie to a minor league deal, 6'5", 165. Was the Guardians' first-round pick in 2015. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but Mason Miller going to pitch for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. We got three other players playing in the World Baseball Classic. Manny and Fernando going to play for the DR, Dominican Republic, and Xander once again going to play for the Netherlands. So I always hold my breath on that, to be honest with you. I always hold my breath. I'm concerned that somebody's going to get hurt, but this middle infielder, Sung Mung Song, 28 years old, left-hand hitter. Kiwoom Heroes this last year, 315, 26 bombs, 90 RBIs, 530 slug, 917 OPS. So we'll wait and see if that becomes final. But FB, thank you very much. Appreciate that. We'll have to wait and see. I think there's going to be a trade. I think there's going to be a trade. It wouldn't even surprise me if they traded Pavetta and they traded Cronenworth in a package deal. That would free up about the money they need to free up, I think. But thank you very much. We got any others out there we want to get to today here? What else we got? All right, Matt, happy holidays, Coach. I don't get the Dodgers ruining baseball is going to cause a lockout. TV viewership has been through the roof the past two playoffs. Look at how much tax gets distributed. Hey, you know what? Dodgers aren't ruining baseball. I would hope that the Dodgers are forcing other ball clubs to get a little bit more serious about competing. And then maybe outbid the Dodgers for a player every once in a while. You're not going to outbid the Dodgers on a routine basis, but you could certainly outbid them occasionally, couldn't you? I mean, it seems like they've got an endless money pit up there. But you know what? I'm hoping the Dodgers force everybody else to get better. Because as a baseball fan, I want to see the product continue to get better. Dodgers are just better than everybody. They've got more financial resources, and they do a great job down in the minor leagues. How? Because they eat better or because they got better coaches? I don't know. I just know that they develop a lot of guys. I mean, it's like this coming year, they're going to have Glass now. They'll have Snell. They'll have Yamamoto. They'll have Otani. They'll have Emmett Sheehan unless they trade him. They got the bullpen. They're going to have 15 or 16 pitchers. And they're going to have all these guys probably follow the same formula. They're not going to have guys throwing 200 innings. They want these guys fresh for the postseason. And they've got all these other guys they give innings to get them major league experience. And then come August, those guys kind of get slowly pushed aside and the big boys come in. They're not going to have guys making 32 starts. I mean, Yamamoto may make 32 starts, but I guarantee you Glass now and Snell ain't making 32 starts. There's no way. No way. Emmett Sheehan may, but probably not. And their bullpen, I mean, with Diaz coming, oh my God, can you believe that? And then they get Vesia back, and they're hoping Tanner Scott will find it, considering he was awful last year after giving him a 4-year, $72 million deal. But you know what? I'm hoping the Dodgers make everybody else better. You got to play to a higher standard. You got to work harder. There's no substitute. AJ Preller and I actually had this conversation at my Christmas party up to Leucadian. We talked about, man, there's no substitute for going out in the hot sun and working on your swing, working on ground balls, work on throwing bullpens. We talked about all this. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the time, not only during the season, but you need a little time in the off season, especially a pitcher. But then you got to get back to work and you got to be ready to roll and you got to be in good shape. Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate that. College basketball, Aztecs. They got a win the other night. First half, they kind of dilly-dinked around, but they blew out Air Force in the second half on Wednesday night. They're 1-0 in the Mountain West Conference. They got to go over to Phoenix tomorrow, take on number one Arizona. I don't think the Aztecs are ready for the number one team in the country. Maybe they'll rise to the occasion. I'll wait and see. Tritons, 10-1. They're playing great basketball, taking on USD tonight, Lion Tree Arena at 7 o'clock. Hopefully, you'll come out. I'm looking forward to calling that game. I got a game tonight. I got one next Sunday, and then I've got games on January 3rd and 8th. Got a lot of games coming up. So if you get a chance, then come out to the game tonight on Friday night. 7 o'clock tip at Lion Tree Arena. Come by and say hello. I'm an easy guy to find down on the floor right there by the season ticket front row guys. I usually sit next to Gary Jacobs, son of Irwin Jacobs of Qualcomm. And Gary sits right next to me while I'm calling the ball game with Steve Quist. And again, if you can't make it out, you can go on ESPN Plus and not only watch our game, but you watch a lot of games that aren't on TV, and they're professionally done very nicely, I might add. Okay, let's get to Coach's Mailbag, and then we'll get out of here on a Friday and get into our holiday. Gary Whaley, who are the top 5 buyers for the Padres, Coach? You know, Gary, don't know. I think Joe Lacob, the owner of the Golden State Warriors, I've heard his name bannered about. I've heard people talk about Bezos and Steve Ballmer and Elon Musk. I don't think they're going to buy the team. I really don't. I don't know who's going to buy the team. And you know what? I'd be a little afraid to buy this team right now. There's some thing. You got heavy payroll of guys that are going to be in their 40s. And you're still going to be paying them. That's a problem. And I think the lockout is going to be a real problem because I do think they're going to get locked out. I think the players are going to get locked out next December. I would be very surprised if the owners did not lock them out. And I think we're going to get to spring training late in 2027. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But right now, I don't think I'm going to be, but we'll see. I'm praying that Rob Manfred and Tony Clark can get on the same page. I'm really praying for that, but we'll have to wait and see. Gary, I'll do a little more digging, but I'll try to have something for you on January 5th. But right now, been very, very quiet on that front. Very quiet. Okay, what else we got here? Friar fan and Will Tatis play shortstop in the WBC? You know, that's a good question. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see who else is going to be playing for the Dominican Republic. Wouldn't that be something if he played shortstop? I just hope he comes back with the Padres and plays with some fervor and some passion and some excitement and energy. Man, the last 3.5 months were kind of painful to watch. First 6, 7 weeks, he was fantastic. And, you know, his numbers were okay at 268, 25 bombs. But really, I mean, I kind of expected a little more damage out of Fernando. I don't know about you, but I did. Okay, what else we got here? Austin Prather, happy holidays to you and the family, Coach. I'm glad for our friendship. Love you. I'm looking forward to you returning on January 5th. Austin, always a pleasure, my friend. I love you too and love your family. Your family's always been extremely loyal to Coach Kentera. When I'd make personal appearance, your family would always show up and support me, and you followed me for a very, very long time, and certainly appreciate that. And I hope you and the entire Prather family have a great holiday season and a very, very Merry Christmas. There you have it. All right, what else? That it? Okay. A couple of things I want to say here. Number one, Jonathan Oliveri, who produces and direct, behind the scene guy, done an incredible job for us. Incredible job for us. And I want to thank him for all of his hard work and dedication and friendship. And I'm very much excited about him going to the Holiday Bowl this year, doing some great writing for the East Village Times. And I want to thank all you folks that have made this journey on the internet very enjoyable for me. I wasn't sure I wanted to do this, but a lot of you people talked me into it. And we've been doing it now for, wow, well over a year and a half. We're approaching 2 years, I think, in like May. I think it'll be 2 years. So we've had a pretty good run. We're trying to build our audience out there. Again, please subscribe, please like, please share, please tell a friend. And again, if you'd like to support the channel, $2.99 a month for our Gold Glove package. But until January 5th at 9 a.m., I want to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas and a very prosperous 2026. Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll talk to you again on January 5th at 9 a.m. on the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Bye-bye.